All right, men, welcome to today's episode of Strong Men, Strong Marriages. Is marriage coaching a good investment? So, look, as a high achieving, professionally successful guy, you think about investments and what's a good investment, stocks, real estate, bonds, my own business, where should I spend my money on advertising or things like that. Um, so, what about marriage coaching? Is that a good investment? Should I put my money there? Should I put it somewhere else? So that's what we're going to talk about today. So my name is Mike Frazier, MD. I'm a psychiatrist and marriage coach, and I help high-achieving Christian men have more intimate marriages. So some wins from guys in my program, the Strong Men, Strong Marriages program. Guys are having increased self-confidence. So on the outside as high-achieving men, a lot of times we look like we have a lot of confidence, and in some ways we do, but it kind of gets exposed when someone does better than us, and then we feel jealous, or inside we have a lot of negative self-talk, like, oh man, you should be doing better, and you're not doing good enough. A lot of times that's going on inside of us, and instead of that, guys are getting to where they genuinely feel good about who they are, good with their relationship with God, and that just expands out everywhere. The other thing that happens is a lot of people don't see on the outside, but like if our wife's not giving us lots of attention, appreciation, affection, sex, we start feeling neglected, needy. We start telling her other people notice how great we are. She doesn't. So it comes out in the marriage when it doesn't come out in other places. That's the mosquito cycle that we talk about. So guys are having that genuine increased self-confidence, which feels better, is much more attractive, managing their thoughts and emotions better. Guys are having more fun, more laughter in their marriages. Sometimes as high achieving guys, we can get too serious, right? So bringing that fun and laughter back and building those fun connections that makes the problem solving a lot easier. Guys are having better relationships with their kids. When you learn relationship skills and you get mastery of relationship skills that we teach you in this program, that's expands everywhere. And, with your wife is kind of the main focus, but when you learn these skills, it gets better with your kids, it gets better with coworkers, it gets better with everybody. One gentleman shared he was just grateful to God as he looked back and saw the progress that he'd made as part of the program. And man, I love when guys say that they feel closer to God than ever by the work they've done in the program. It's awesome. Guys are getting more hugs and kisses from their wives, enjoying that good physical intimacy. For me, my son graduates from high school, and man, that's a cool milestone, and I'm super proud of him. So that was a good win for me and our family this week. So, right now, you're listening to this podcast, so it tells me that you're trying to make your marriage better, but probably you're doing a lot of that on your own right now. So you're self-motivated, you're a high achieving guy, you've done well in business and your career and all of that. So a lot of times you kind of think, okay, well, I should be able to figure this out on my own. Like, I should be able to figure out how to have a good marriage. I should be able to, just do this, right? And look, it's kind of embarrassing to admit that you have marriage problems, right? It's hard to know who do you talk to about this stuff. Do I talk to my family? Probably not. I don't want them to think bad about my wife. Do I talk to my pastor? Maybe. Does he really have the expertise to help me with this? Maybe, maybe not. Depends on the situation. So what you end up doing is kind of doing a lot of this in private usually. So you listen to this podcast, probably other podcasts too. You read books, you try your best to implement the materials. And look, maybe you are seeing some changes, and but you're still not quite where you want, right? You're still lacking that intimacy. You're still talking separation, and you're just feeling kind of stuck. Or maybe you have spent some money on therapy or coaching, and it hasn't really gone that well. Or, maybe you're like, okay, well, I'm trying all these different things. I want marriage to be better. I'm just not quite sure what to do. So, maybe I should just spend money on gifts for my wife, buy her some cool stuff, or take a vacation together. We can spend some time together, or upgrade the home. She's been wanting that, hoping all that will improve the marriage. So, you're probably trying a lot of these things. And look, you're investing too. You're investing financially in, taking care of your family financially now and in the future, whether that's real estate or, your different retirement accounts and setting up your trust and all that kind of stuff. So that's not a bad thing or a wrong thing to do at all. But the reason that you're not getting where you want in your marriage is that the relationships that are a skill. Okay, they really are. And it's like learning a sport or learning an instrument. Okay, it takes practice. It's part of it's physical. Like a lot of the things we do in a relationship are physical. Okay, speaking, that's a physical action. Okay, your muscles are moving for that to happen. Okay, your brain is wired a certain way to make certain words in certain conversations. And a lot of that's what relationships are about. But also, just physically, giving hugs, giving kisses, sex, right? There's some physical element to all that too. So a lot of times what happens with relationship things, though, is that we kind of put it in a different category. Like, oh, I don't really need to practice. I just need to kind of listen to a bunch of stuff. So, we listen to things. It feels good to learn it, and then we don't really implement it, right? Or we try to implement it, doesn't work. We're like, oh, I guess that didn't work, right? So, but what this is like, it's like listening to a podcast about playing tennis or like playing golf without ever going out and playing it. Okay. Or, you watch a video or you read a book and you try to do it on your own. Oh, like, okay, I should turn my grip this way when I'm playing tennis, right? You go out and try it. I know it doesn't quite work. You're like, yeah, then you're kind of stuck, right? You don't really know what to do. So live feedback, it improves results dramatically. Okay. So say you're trying to get better at tennis. Okay. You can watch a video, but when you go and see the coach, they're like, oh, okay, here's what's happening, right? They can watch your form and just make that little adjustment, and then all of a sudden you're hitting the ball in every time. Or with golf, right? Another great example. Your grip's a little bit off. They just adjust a little bit. The coach can see it right there, live in the movement, help you adjust it and hit it just right. Okay. So now, yeah, your results just go so much faster like that. Or you hired a business coach, right? You're trying all these different things, and then they're like, oh, okay, here's why that's not working. Here's this one little tweak you need to make. You make that one little tweak, and boom, you're getting that success that you've been looking for. So again, like, you can read business books all day, but when someone can come in and actually look and say, okay, like, here's, in your specific situation, here's the one thing you need to apply right now, that's when things can take off for you. Okay. So again, if you're, and the thing is too, like, if you've gone to see a marriage therapist or like a marriage coach, a lot of time they don't really look at it this way. They don't look at it like, hey, you really need to rewire your brain. We need to change your negative patterns. We need to update those. A lot of times they won't give you the exact tools that you need to practice so you can manage your thoughts and emotions better. Okay. So you can build the skills of communication better. A lot of people will talk about communication. However, they won't go deeper into kind of where that communication is coming from. They won't help you understand like where those feelings are coming from. They won't help you understand how to release feelings effectively. They won't help you get into your brain and really shift and see what's happening. Okay, that's what we do in the program. That's why it's so effective, right? That's why High Achieving Guys like it, because it's very structured, teaches you a tool that you practice and get good at. Okay, and that's what you do. So anyway, the other thing you might be doing, again, like spending money on gifts or vacations or home improvements, the thing is, it doesn't address the main issue, and that's lack of internal strengths and relationship skills. Okay, so like you spend money on a gift, but if you gave that gift with the intention of having her give you a big hug and then she doesn't, and now you're upset, okay, now you've just perpetuated the same problem. Or you go on this vacation and you're having the same fights on that vacation that you have at home. You make the home improvements, and now you're just arguing the same arguments in your new kitchen, right? You didn't address the internal strengths and relationship skills that needed to be addressed. Okay, so, and then spending money on financial investments, right? It helps with money, but does it help with more happiness? Okay, long term. Okay, that's a good question. And so a good question to ask yourself, because like we're talking about investment, is marriage coaching an investment? Should you spend money and time on marriage coaching? So what's the goal of investing? Okay, the goal of investing typically is to make more money. Right? What's my rate of return? Can I get 5%? Can I get 10%? Can I get 20%? Can I get 100%? Right? The goal is to make more money. But why? Why are we trying to make more money? So for most of us, it's to give more opportunities for a better life. Okay, so it's to create a long and happy life. We don't just want money sitting in the bank account. Look, that does feel good to some extent, but at the end of the day, does that number really matter? Not really. We want it to translate into a feeling for us, a feeling of security, a feeling of connection. Hopefully give us opportunities for a long, happy life, have more opportunities, right? Sure, like you can go on a better vacation with $100,000 than with $1,000. But again, the same thing, like just because you're in a beautiful location, if you don't have relationship skills, you go there to a beautiful place with your wife, you're just going to fight in a beautiful place, or, have disconnection in a beautiful place. Okay. So again, like spend some money instead of spending 20, 30, 50 grand on a vacation where you're just going to create more problems. Like spend that on learning how to have a great relationship for the rest of your life. Again, that's what I think you should do. But you have to decide, right? You have to decide what's the best use of your money. But yeah, the point of money, right? To create a long, happy life. And look, as a Christian guy, really we want to kind of use that to bring more of God's kingdom to the earth, right? And so, have God's will be done on earth as it is in heaven. So I've been reading this book, Follow the Cloud by John Stickle. Love it. He talks about the third circle being release God's kingdom. So release God's kingdom into the world. And look, finances can help you do that. They can, no question. But what's the main thing that God wants in his kingdom? Okay? What's the main thing that he wants? He wants the love of God and he wants love for others. That's what he wants, right? Those are the two great commandments. Jesus summarized them for us. Love, right? So, the best way you can release God's kingdom in the world is love. So learning how to love well is probably the best thing you could do to release God's kingdom. Okay. And look, loving, it is a skill. Okay. And it's a skill you can learn. It's a skill that we teach inside of Strong Men, Strong Marriages. But look, so that's kind of God's view on what's most important. But what does research show, right? If you want some like hard scientific facts, what does research show contributes most to a long, happy life? Assuming that like that's kind of why you're investing. You want a long, happy life and to leave a good example and legacy for your children. So the Harvard Study of Adult Development, it spent 80 years tracking the health and happiness of Harvard graduates and inner city cohorts. So kind of Harvard graduates, you figure, probably had some more like social advantages coming in and kind of going out versus like inner city cohorts probably didn't. But what do you think? What had the greatest effect on their health and happiness? Was it how much money they made? Was it, what jobs they had? Was it genetics? Okay. So the bottom line of this study, and they were surprised, like even if you read through and just look it up, Harvard Study of Adult Development, they were surprised by these findings. It was actually the quality of their relationships. That's what made people the healthiest and the happiest long term. Okay. So instead of like biohacking and checking all your markers and all that, like by research, the best thing you can do to have a long, healthy life is to have great relationships. So from the study, close relationships more than money or fame, are what kept people happy throughout their lives, the study revealed. Those ties protect people from life's discontents, help to delay mental and physical decline, and are better predictors of long and happy lives than social class, IQ, or even genes. And that finding proved true across the board, both among Harvard men and their inner city participants. So everybody, right? Like love, right? Having loving relationships. That's what matters. That's what's going to make you happy and healthy. Another quote, so those who kept warm relationships got to live longer and happier, said Walden Jury's main researcher, and the loners often died earlier. Loneliness kills, he said. It's as powerful as smoking or alcoholism. Okay, so if you feel lonely in your relationship, like you're going to die sooner probably. Okay. If it's like as much as you were an alcoholic or a smoker. Okay, the researchers also found that marital satisfaction has a protective effect on people's mental health. Part of a study found that people who had happy marriages in their 80s reported that their moods didn't suffer, even on days when they had more physical pain. Those who had unhappy marriages felt both more emotional and physical pain. Okay? So what does this mean, right? What it means is a happy marriage, really it's the ultimate biohack, right? So if you're spending money right now, and a lot of guys that I work with are, and they're interested in this, and great, right? You want to optimize your health. But research has already told us how you're going to have the longest, healthiest life, how you're going to avoid mental decline. It's by having a happy marriage, right? If you're married right now. So here's what is a good idea based on research, right? Based on all these things. Invest some time and money in learning how to have great relationships, okay? Have great relationships with God, with yourself, with your wife, with your kids, okay? To this point, you have not been through a curriculum that will help you learn and practice the necessary skills to have great, happy, connected relationships. You just haven't, right? It hasn't been laid out for you in a way that's like, okay, here are the things that you need to do. Here are the skills that you need to practice. Okay? But Strong Men, Strong Marriages, that's what it is. It's that curriculum that teaches you exactly how to do this. Okay? So you learn the skills, you apply it, and then you get feedback. So you'll go through modules, there'll be assessments to make sure you understand it, and then you get feedback on that, right? You come to our group calls. We're going to you're going to practice stuff. We're going to give you feedback. Each day you're going to send some stuff in, right? And we're going to give you feedback, okay? To make sure your brain is rewiring and learning these skills, Okay. So look, this is the path to learning and mastering any skill. You learn something, you go try it out, and then you get feedback, and you just keep doing that over and over. Okay, that's how you're going to become a master. Okay, so we want you to become a master of relationships, and really like a master of love. Okay, how do I love well? How do I love God? How do I love myself? How do I love my wife? How do I love my kids well? Okay, that's what we're going to learn. Okay, and that's how we bring God's kingdom to the earth and bring you more happiness and a longer life to yourself. Okay. So I'm asking you, right? Figure this out for yourself. Is there a better investment that you can make? Okay. You've invested in your business, in your hobbies, in your education, right? You spent time, you spent money doing those things, and that's great, right? And if you believe that your marriage is the most important thing in your life, and your relationships are the most important thing in your life, then listen, man, put your time and your money where your mouth is. Like a lot of guys say, yeah, my marriage is the most important, but how much time and effort and money do they put into learning how to make their marriage great? Often it's not that much, right? So just be in integrity. If you're saying it's the most important, have your finances reflect that and learn the skills, right? It's a skill to love well. It's a skill to build relationships. So come learn it. Come learn how to have great relationships for the rest of your life. Like really, there's no better investment that you can make, in my opinion. Again, you have to make that decision. But if we're looking at, what God says about love being the most important thing, it'd probably be worth it to learn how to love well. And if we're looking at Harvard study, if we want to live a long, healthy life, it's probably worth it to figure out how to have good relationships. Okay. So if you're ready, if you're saying, you know what, yeah, you're right. Like I haven't really learned the skills. It's a skill I want to learn. I've spent money learning other skills. I might as well spend money to learn this skill. Like, let's do it. Okay. I'm going to spend time and money to learn this skill, how to have great relationships for the rest of my life. Come join us, strongmen.io, or visit the link in the show notes, fill out an application, and then we'll talk about your best next steps. So apply to join. We'll talk soon. Again, strongmen.io, or visit the link in the show notes, and looking forward to connecting with you. So stay strong, men. We'll see you next episode.